Hey, hi, how you doing? I'm Markus Pattern, a comic book artist, and I'm here for my weekly ramble chat in which I talk about how I went about my day, week, or even my year, for those of you inclined. Um, Sorry for wearing the hat indoors like a twat, but like my hair looks atrocious, and you know, it's the hat I wear on my business card, so I guess we're keeping in tow. So yes, hi. So for those of you who don't know me, and I'm Markus Pattern. I draw comics, commissions, pin-ups, covers, generally wherever my whims take me. During the week, you'll find me up on these streams, basically drawing my comics that I stuff, and yeah, and other things. So that's what I do. Yeah. Basically, not. I mean, a bit has happened this week, but essentially, like it's like well, you tuned in last week, and I was drawing a comic, and I'm still drawing a comic this week. So, but to make it so that I'm not just not talking about anything, I figured I would be like, well, I figured I've recently discovered a technique that's helped me improve my artwork and speed, and generally kind of get this done a lot quicker. And it's kind of simple, but like I was watching. I was watching. I've been studying and how to get quicker and stuff, and I found someone who basically kind of clarified the technique that I should be using and I do use. So essentially, it's kind of the modified. No, it's not even the modified. It's basically the bean technique, where you essentially just draw like a bean, and that's the human torso. But like to clarify that, then to get the gesture right, you then stick, say, this center red line down, and then across for the abs, and then for the pelvis is how I do it and stuff. And it just means that it basically means that like what I'm doing is, instead of being like all prissy about getting the anatomy and getting everything everywhere, it's because like, well, a human body is only a certain shape, right? And this I'm not drawing I'm not drawing the human body. I'm drawing a picture, and it's an approximation. So like, and I can spend forever fucking around and failing to get the anatomy right the first time around, or I can get the basic shape of it down, and then from that I can then go ahead and pose it out and everything. So like and the torso is only made up of three component parts, right? You got the abs, you got your tubbly wobbly, which would be this bit here, and then you got your pelvis, and it basically kind of bends, contorts, and so yeah. You know what a human body does, unless you're a lizard. Do I have any lizards watching this? Hello, lizards. That'd be quite dope. But yeah, and also what this technique helps with is, instead of being like thinking about all the working parts, it basically solidifies it into one shape that bends. Because essentially, I how can I put this? How should I have put this? I should have written this down. But I have a real problem with kind of like artist lean and having my proportions all out of whack and everything. And it's because instead of being like, this is the torso, these are the legs, this is the head, that's how it's made. Okay, so it's like, okay, this is the pectoral area, this is the tummy, these are the this is the pelvis, this is the hip bones, and hip bones go to the hip, go to the knees, and the knees go to the feet and stuff, and then you got like the elbow, the shoulder attaching to the shoulder, elbow attaching to the forearm, to the triceps and stuff, to attaching the forearm, attaching the hand, and it's like instead of being like, I've drawn an image, I've drawn a collection of different body parts, kind of mashed together, and the problem with studying art and doing art is that you get better at it, and then you forget the cool little, you forget the tricks that you learnt before, and you essentially then have to go back to being a child again, because like essentially. So like there's certain landmarks on a torso that are there no matter what, right? No matter which way you twisted it and stuff, and this technique kind of just helps me kind of keep it all in proportion, but also helps me draw this a lot quicker than say if I was to be a bit more analytical and anatomically correct. And while this might not be anatomically correct, it also helps with the gesture a lot more, because like and like it also helps with defining perspective of the body and stuff, like you see on the far side, the center, that's not coming on the screen. I should have shaded that bit, but yeah, basically yeah, I can't forget. So basically, it delineates the front and the side and stuff, which makes it easier to kind of get it in perspective and stuff, and because you can get all kind of lost in everything, because and then obviously you need the arms, the legs, and head, so that's why they're there. So like just to show you this being put into practice. So like standard pose at the top, slightly more awkward pose at the bottom. These were done in about 5 to 10 minutes before I came on air, because I had been meaning to do it for the entire week, and because I'm really bad at organising, so shit, I'm about to do this ramble chat. I said I was going to do it last week, kind of keep keep going. So yeah, these poses here took me about 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, right? And we got like a pretty standard one at the top there, obviously quite easy. If I was to draw this guy properly, I would get the legs correct, but like you can see the head and the torso kind of like bent the right way. Then you got your man on your bike. Back view is a bit more tricky than, but like again, you got like the gesture, he's sitting there, it worked, it's fine to build off of, and that's the most important thing. These things are fine to build off of, but like it's much easier to build off this scaffolding than the technique I was using before, because I think the problem is I was being too precious. The good thing about this technique, it stops you being precious, because essentially you're not drawing each individual part, you're drawing a bean basically. And I know this is 101 artwork and stuff, but like I'm 40 years old, and it was only really solidified to me relatively recently. It's like, oh. And it was because watching a YouTube video, it's like, oh, okay, cool. That makes a lot more sense. And it's also helped me. It helped me recently with the thumbnails I did for. I was doing that. Like, oh, there we go. And it's meant like instead of being like sketching out in the thumbnail section and being like, oh, I need to I need to then build a sketch. No, I've got quite a bit of the building block done here, and then it's a case of then build up on the sketch and then build up the pencils. It helps the workflow if you just get it better to get the foundations done correctly. So like so like these would be relatively easy things for me to then take, poses to then take, and then basically gussy up into proper poses and stuff with the proper anatomy and stuff, and then go from there. So that's just yeah. And also some like there's quite some of these things like the bike isn't a 1-for-1, so it's a case of I'm not straight up, so I'm not straight up taking the reference. It's a case of I can then mix and match and stuff, and then I can then do it, do it the way so it's not straight up. I mean, I don't really trace, but I do work a lot from reference. So it means instead of working 1-for-1 for reference, it's like the gesture of the piece, I think, is the most important part. Like getting the gesture right, like because essentially, like to reiterate, because I'm a bad teacher. The torso is the torso. It bends in the middle, it bends and it twists and stuff. But essentially, it is what it is. The shape is essentially the shape, and just but it's also a 3D object, and you just got to kind of figure out a way of drawing it quickly so you're not getting stuck in it. And then, yeah, I think next week I'll have learned how to. I'm gonna next week, if this is something that you find interesting or not, I might explain to you how I also do arms and stuff and legs, because essentially, yeah, there's a like, yeah, I'm gonna save that for next week, because basically it'll give me a chance to refresh it in my own mind too. And one of the good things about doing this and talking about this, telling you shit that you already know, then I already know. So once you've said it out loud, like, oh right, I get you now. That makes more sense. And then to hear it out loud is to basically there we go, fantastic. We've learned something here. I've learned something here. The best way to learn is to teach. Yeah. So that's the bean technique. So what I have been doing this week mainly is Killers of Kindness, is the comic I'm doing for Maruskia Publishing, and the writer of this tome is called Sai Dithan. I've never bothered trying to say his last name out loud before. So, but essentially, right. So the story is of the Killers of Kindness, drawn by yours truly. There is these magical swords that have been sent that connect two disparate warriors through time. One of whom is called Takaj, and the other one is called Jack. And it's a bloody, violent samurai horror in which I get to be proper fucking gory, which delightful. I'm quite enjoying that little, kind of from here comes a dragon punch of kind of good time fun, if a bit fun, but good time fun to just lean into my my dagness. But because it's set in two different time periods, that gives me a chance to play with two different types of ways of doing things. So I'm going to show you page 1, which looks like this. I'm channeling my inner Blade of the Immortal early manga kind of early manga, so more of a grittier kind of vibe, a lot more kind of cross-hatchy and scratchy and stuff. And obviously informal borders and stuff instead of having a kind of standard. Because I'm just kind of what I'm doing with these is I'm basically taking a white ink pen, an ink brush, white, and then applying a stroke to it. So that's what gives it that bamboo kind of vibe, which I like, and luckily so does the writer. So just to help delineate, there's a lot more kind of mess and artifacts on this page than say there will be on Jack's pages, which I'm going for a lot more of a clean kind of like early 2000s manga kind of vibe, basically like Gunsmith Cats or Faith Aaron Hicks's joint and stuff. So a lot more just more solid colours and and a cleaner line. And obviously fixed borders and stuff. Like hers will be on a more of a rigid sort of grid kind of thing, And obviously the composition and stuff, she's just a lot more looking down on her because she's kind of been thrown into this against her will. But that's just to help delineate. So like instead of there's going to be precious little cross hatching in this, say more solid blacks, more of a channeling my mid 2000s pseudo manga era kind of Adam Warren, Humboldt Oramus, he's not pseudo but like Terry Dodson and stuff. That more of a line clear kind of vibe. Just as clean and crisp as I can make it, right? Which I have been doing. It's interesting to swap between the two styles and stuff, like, you know, because like it's all basically my hand, and I am more of a sketchier kind of guy. But yeah, but one of the main ways I've been doing this is I like to create my own pens and stuff, and I've been using and so I've been using different styles of pens for both pages. So like Jack's pens on the other side are like a more of a clean, clear, crisp line built off the smooth brush, and then basically I've made it so the brush that I've made, the Bankso brush, is basically has more of a tapier tip and stuff, but also can, if you put pressure on it, it can basically fill a thing full of black and stuff, as you can tell from the fact the top one's like, that's basically full pressure on it. The bottom, the one below it is slightly is less pressure, and then I've got a thinner brush, which is Bankso 2, and Bankso 3, which I forgot I had made until I was making this thing, is a much thinner brush, which it's good to know that I've got that. And then I use the G pen on the Clip Studio default pen, which is a lot more it basically acts like a G pen, which is like a traditional manga pen nib. It's a lot smoother than, say, some of the other ones. So like, her line is, again, smoother, cleaner, more crisp and stuff. Whereas the Cage pens, I took the basic Bankso brush that I was using, and then I applied a different shape. Damn it! I was like, it was a hexagon shape, and I should show you what the one of the reasons I'm doing this now also is because I'm going to put this in my Substack newsletter, which I had written. So I will include the shape I used for the Bankso hexagon pens, just so you can see what I do. So yeah, but it gives it more of a grit, a teeth, and an edgy kind of thing, an edge, so that it's not clean, crisp lines. There's some texture to it. And then I downloaded some Mamo pens, which are really thin anti-alias pens, which give it a nice kind of not micron fiber, a Castell. Yeah, it gives them more no, not Castell. Basically, it gives it a more of a basically like a running out kind of like a drying out fine liner pen, to give it a bit more kind of, again, more of a grit kind of thing, and a bit more kind of like dirt and grime and shit. So yeah, so that's so those are that is how I am just delineating between the two time periods, using and with the Cage's pages, I'm using a bit more of a watercolor kind of approach, so like it's a bit more organic and stuff, whereas like with Jack's pages, okay, so no, straightforward, as clean and crisp as I can. I'm using a lot more. I'm using the lasso tool for instance and stuff, and yeah, I do have another pen that has a bit more of a kind of like dotted feathery kind of line that I use for filling in the edges to get my more of a, because I quite like drawing with a I quite like painting with a for want of a better word, a Steven Universe background fibers, all where it's like kind of little dots, specky and dotty and stuff, and you know, it gives a bit more kind of texture and grit and stuff. You get from using a brush that's all kind of. Let's see if I can do this. Hello. Hey, Right, so that kind of vibe. So I do like painting with it with this kind of vibe, giving it a bit more of a textured, feathered kind of style, which worked. Which, you know, if you've watched this channel long enough, you remember. Oh, that's what he was on about when he was doing the space thing that he was doing for that anthology. He can't remember the name of. You know, yeah, that's basically what I like. You know, so this is what for painting and stuff. So and when you're doing like a shadow and stuff. So when you're doing like shadows and time, it gives it a nice kind of, instead of just being like a straightforward, like, there's a bit more of kind of like a bleed, essentially. Not a bleed, but like it gives it basically a bit more of a less. It gives it a softer kind of more okay kind of vibe. It's supposed to, like, yeah. I didn't explain that very well. It gives it a nice kind of. It makes it less digital, for want of a better word. Less analog, more analog, less digital, less like kind of like I'm only using the anti-aliasing tools and stuff to get blend and blur, which I get from the Decage pens, and yeah. So yeah, that's the difference. That's what I'm doing with these, right, to help give the comic a different sort of vibe. I was using something similar to that pen on Here Comes the Dragon Punch, but like, instead of it being a kind of it was a bit too it was a bit, the line wasn't heavy enough, and there was too much grit, not enough road for that line. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing Here Comes Dragon Punch. But like, and that no one gave a fuck. But anyway, but like just learning. So I think so. Anyway, I think that's enough talking about that. So yeah, there's some new artwork up on my Patreon. There's a new Judge Dredd picture up on there. Before that, I also did this. I was about to try and sing the Hercules thing, but I couldn't. So yeah, I've basically been trying to update my my commissions thing to show people what I can draw and stuff. And like, a lot of what I've been doing is kind of on the static side of things. I was like, well, I need a bit more action and stuff. So like, so that's why I've drawn Herc here up against the Hydra and stuff. It's essentially just it would be like a half body kind of. Like, this is what I do for half bodies and stuff, but like, instead of it being like kind of like stuck, it stands still. Like, let's have a bit of action in there. That would be the imperatives behind the Hawk Girl, where she's screaming and stuff. And it's a bit more kind of like, let's throw a bit more kind of acting and action and scene into these scenes. So yeah, on the Patreon there is there's the processing bit of it, like you get like to see the pens, pencils, the thumbs and shit. There's also a time-lapse video of this. There's a time-lapse videos of all of them, of the Hawk Girl, of the Judge Dredd, of my character Claire with a bug coming out of her mouth. There's a couple of there. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be posting it anywhere else. So if you want to see original artwork that you might not see anywhere else, that's up there on the Patreon, because I have a Patreon. Essentially all my stuff goes up on there first, and then when I think about it, I then post it out on about generally there's about a week before. So, and when I do get around to doing proper videos, speed paints, and they go up on there first too and stuff. I probably should do another speed paint at some point. I've just been a bit busy with this comic Yeah. By the way, how do you think this does this work for you? Where I stand, well, I'm in the corner, and then I flick up a JPEG, and that's on the side, and is it irritate? Is it, you know? Let me know if it works for you. If not, I can try something else. But like, I don't know if it also because yeah. I don't know. I think it worked. I think it's a bit more fun than before. So yeah. So yeah. I guess that's me done for this week. That was that I think it classified as a ramble, as opposed to a chat. Hopefully I got bit more. Hopefully there wasn't a lot of that where I tried to finish a sentence and then I stopped midway through the sentence and stalled out and go like a fucking robot, you know. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you for getting it all the way to the end. I'm Markus Pattern. You've been fantastic, absolutely tip top and glorious. And commissions are open. Comics are available up on my Etsy. Here Comes Giant Planets up on Webtoons. I've got a Substack which I mentioned, which will be which will have the which will be a bit more in depth on the differencing in the pages and stuff. Will be more concise because I can't type. So yeah. Click like and subscribe and all that noise. I'm up to 40 subscribers on Twitch. If I get up to 50, that'd be fantastic. I'm 125 up on YouTube, so thank you everyone for coming along to that. Let's get up to 200 on the YouTube and stuff. Let's just get this motherfucking ball rolling. You know, it's a team effort. I'm only here because you're here, and if you weren't here, I wouldn't be. I like to say I wouldn't be doing this, but like I've got nothing else to do, so But I'm only excited about being here because you're here. You're all fantastic. Have yourself a very lovely Friday afternoon. In London, it's nice, balmy and sunny. I hope it's nice, balmy and sunny where you are too. And with that, I am out. Hello. Hey, just I wasn't looking at the Twitch stream. Hello, Poyo How. Thank you for turning up. I'm about to go, so sorry about that. Have yourself a lovely day.